Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. Today I will be telling you guys a little story about how I dodged the Norwegian military service. Military service in Norway is mandatory, at least on paper. Now, I'm gonna start saying this first, that this was not recent. This happened like 12 years ago, back in 2008. It is important that I clarify this because due to the current situation with the Russian invasion of Ukraine, so people don't start accusing me for being a coward or a deserter for avoiding a war with Russia. Norway is part of NATO, so if in case things started escalating or getting worse, I probably will get drafted in case there's a situation in Norway when there's all hands on deck and when the government declared martial law or something. Anyways, back to 2008. Norwegian law says this about military service. In Norway, conscription is universal. That means that both women and men are conscripted. General conscription normally begins in the year you turn 19 and ends in the year you turn 44. Before, the military service only applied for men until 2014, when they decided that both men and women have to serve in the army, because in Norway there's a strong focus on gender equality, so we have to treat men and women equally. So, as you can see here, on paper, this sounds very strict, that everybody has to go to the army for at least a year. In reality, if you don't want to go, you kind of don't have to go. Although right now, I'm not so sure if that's gonna work out, because due to the current situation with Putin going all cuckoo. Rewind to 2008. I was just turned 18 years old. I got a letter in my mail and said, hey, you have to meet up at the session during this time and day. And all men at that age had to meet up, and there was an officer there where giving us a little briefing about who they are, what they do, and blah 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 blah. He was just talking a lot of stuff. Then after the briefing, they will have to go through a lot of checks on you, like they have to do a health check, they did a little physical check, and they also gave you an IQ test. And after you're done with all these tests, then they will have a 10 to 15 minutes conversation with you. On the IQ test they gave us, what I did with it was I kind of answered all the questions badly on purpose. My goal was, of course, just doing as badly as I can to just avoid getting into the military. And yeah, after a long time of waiting at the session, and then they called me in for a conversation, and they told me, well, you're not fit for service. When I heard that, I was like, wow, I'm so relieved that I don't have to go to the military. About 1 week later, I got a new email from the army in my mail, and they gave me on paper, in writing, and said that I'm not really fit for military service and I don't have to go to the army for the rest of my life. Whew. So relieved. You see, the mandatory service sounds very strict on paper, but in reality, anyone who wants to skip the military and don't want to go, they can do that very easily. I have another example of one of my ex-coworker many years ago. When we were working, and one day, he got a letter from the army and say, okay, your time is up, you have to go serve in the army. And yeah, we all said to him, okay, good luck and see you about in a year. Then about 1 or 2 weeks later, he all of a sudden showed up to work, and everyone was surprised, like, hey, what are you doing back in coming to work? We thought you were going to the army to serve for a year. He told us that he faked his health check, that okay, when he was getting a body check, he was telling them, oh, I have a bad neck, and he was just pretending he was in pain, and all he did was moving head a little bit here and there and say he pretended he was in pain. He was, which it was not. He was 100% lying, and just like that, he lied about his neck injury, and he lied about his health, and yeah, just like that, they let him off the hook. Now, I have friends that have been to the military, and they told me that why they are letting people off the hook so easily. The point is, in the army, they kind of want people who wants to be motivated and be there. And if they find out that, people who really don't want to be there, they don't want to spend time and energy and effort trying to train you when you don't really want to learn anything. I mean, if your only goal to be there because you have to, and you are just kind of drawing out the time and just be like, oh yeah, I'm not going to learn what you taught me, and I'm not going to take it seriously, well, then they're not going to waste their time on you. I guess the army figured out that, well, instead of wasting their time on people like me, they might as well just focus 100% on, people who want to be there. Now, you're probably gonna ask, well, why I don't want to go to the military? I just kind of don't want to be honest. I don't really have a good or strong reason because, well, I find the military to be boring. I just have zero interest in it, and I just don't want to spend like a whole year of my life on, doing something that I'm really don't like to do. Of course, if the army gave me a valid and a good target to shoot at, well, then I am probably going to be a little bit more motivated next time they ask me to join. So the truth is that if you want to skip military in Norway, you can do that very easily. Even on paper it says, in writing that, everyone has to go to the military for a year. Well, again, with that being said, right now, due to the current situation with the invasion of Ukraine by Russians, I'm not so sure if they're gonna let people off the hook that easily now. Thank you again for watching my video, and well, leave a like and a comment, and I'll see you next time.